Welcome to the Alan Osborne Show. It's November 7th, and it's post-election. And some of the people, the haters out there, are going, why is he smiling? So let me tell you why I'm smiling. Thank you to all the people that supported me. No kidding. I couldn't have done what I did without you. Now, to you people who didn't support me, guess what? Never expected to win. I was exercising my constitutional rights. So let's talk about what really just happened. As far as I know, according to Mr. Messner, about 2,800 and some votes one time were cast in a previous sheriff's election, but I can find no other one in the state. So if that's true, we fell just short of 4,000 votes. So they're unverified at this point. We'll see what happens. But that means we set a record. And think about what that means. Now, according to Mike's supporters, I'm completely unqualified. So what does that mean? There were 50,000 total votes cast, and Mike got about 40,000. So, 10 out of 50 were missing. So, where are they? Of the votes that were counted, we know what the percentage are. But if there were 50,000 votes and Mike only got 40, there's about roughly 10,000 missing. And if I got 4, that means 6,000 people looked at a ballot with only one guy's name on it that everybody should know, that has a public publishing section and a brand person and a PIO for this and that, and had $200,000 of developer money, and they still didn't vote for him. People say, oh, Alan, you got trounced. But let's think about this. When Mike was elected, if I got just short of, let's see, right now the unofficial tally I think is 3,883. I want you to think about this. When Mike ran for office, he got 2,783 votes with his name on the ballot. In comparison, the same time, Tom got 1,146. And Ralph Johnson, the incumbent sheriff, got 1,171, just beating Tom Cooper. And let's see, Tony Corman got a couple hundred votes. Pretty much that was the run-up of Ralph, Tom, and Mike. And none of them got what I got, my name written in, and they were all on the ballot. Now, what that tells me from the primary, nobody knew who Aaron Murray was, and Mike had a tremendous advantage that Aaron entered late with little money. You know what else is amazing is what would have happened if the dog videos and some of the other stuff that didn't come out until after the primary and people had known Aaron, because if that had been me on the primary, I think I'd have beat Mike right off the bat. And what else does it say? 10,000 people basically said they'd rather not have him, or they'd rather have a guy they trust than a guy who what they considered, Mike's people considered a qualified cop. Now think about that. They'd rather trust me, who's never been a cop. I've been basically a world policeman for the government, and I've made sure you live secure out there in America. But what does that mean? The best part about the election is Donald Trump won by great means, but we can't make America great if we don't make our communities great. And the Alan Osborne for Sheriff campaign was a great success. I mean, let's look at it. Basically, I put $100 in the pot. We had less than $2,000 total, like 9 signs, and 9 medium signs, and 25 or 50 small signs. And we got more votes than the sheriff could pull when he ran for a primary as the city of Defuniak marshal. I'd say Mikey got embarrassed. And more importantly, we exposed a lot of issues like the nepotism and waste. Where's that 20 million? And what's going to happen with that? Let's think about that. Let's look at the other race in the county that really matters. Phony Anderson and the kid. Well, Mike Miller pulled 13,000 votes, and probably over half of those were Republicans. When Tony ran in the primary, if he hadn't had Dr. Z, who's nobody has seen except for the signs he didn't pick up, just like we said. He drove with his Alabama plates around, and he was put in there to split the vote to make sure we kept Phony Tony. But don't forget, folks, if you're watching this because you hate me, then you got to listen to the fact that, and you're from above the 331 bridge. Nobody in the South End wanted Tony as the commissioner. He has no skills. Basically, 13,000 people said, I'd rather have a 19-year-old young man with no experience who will probably tell the truth than I'd rather have the mailman and his trolls. And his people celebrated the REC. It wasn't Tony celebrating, it was all the people who were going to make money off of Tony's support. And there's a lot of information that came out on Tony on Nextdoor, and we're going to start digging into that in some upcoming shows here at some point. You know, and let's talk about the things that Tony wouldn't answer. So now let's go back to the state said that those texts from a court case were not enough probable cause, I guess, to investigate Tony for the racist march. So Tony said he couldn't comment before the election because the Ethics Commission might do something. Well, they're not going to, so what's the BCC going to do? According to Tony, he reported all this, but he reported it to the attorney that would sue us and we would pay her money. We found out about a land sale where we sold something to Trey Nick's aunt on December 28th at a meeting nobody attended, and suddenly it was a good idea to sell her something appraised at $1.6 million for $300,000. Who knew that? And Clay Atkinson had an interest in the property next door. I mean, we just got total issues. And now look at Stan. And look where we stand. Hell, I think Dan Curry's going to stand up to be the leader and tell the truth. Maybe Don and Brad will follow, or maybe they'll fall and shift to Danny Liedwell. What's Liedwell going to do? He's got to run for office. We've got lots of other demons coming up. Phony Tony, we got to put the pressure to him because there's some issues with Tony. And we see what's going on. We're going to go over those. But like I said, to the people that think Mike got a huge victory, Mikey knows better. And in political circles, people writing a guy that the opponent claims has absolutely no credentials, writing his name in physically 4,000 times rather than just check the block for the only Republican there, it said a lot. And thank you to all those people that supported me and took the time to write me in. You restored my faith that anybody can have it. And it was Republicans, Democrats, Independents that all did it. So I thank you for that. So here's an amazing fact. I got 532 votes by mail and some overseas votes, and I didn't send out a single mailer. What does that tell you? People were sick of it. Huh. Yeah, Ralph, you and Tom Cooper, I got more votes written in than y'all did when y'all ran. So let's talk about what hadn't changed. Well, we still got a sheriff we need to get rid of. We still got issues. You got Mike producing Dustin Cosin. Hey, let me tell you something. Dustin Cosin is Mike's cousin. He was hired by Mike, and every promotion has been under Mike's command. How about for you people from the ex-military and other fields, when we talk about depth and breadth, that's who Mike wants to run the sheriff's department, having only worked for his cousin as the leader. And every single bit of time he has in that career field is basically under his cousin, who recommended him for all these schools with our money. Something else we need to talk about is the ex-cops from the sheriff's department who were on the BCC and Mike's buddies who gave the fire rescue and emergency services to Mike. Why? It's not in his job description. The sheriff doesn't include being a firefighter. In fact, when he hired Voss wasn't even a firefighter, so neither the sheriff or Tracy Voss were qualified firefighters. And at one point, that's who was running everything. And I believe Tracy is Voss is the director of emergency services now. BCC, you should snatch his back, snatch your funds. You don't have any oversight what's going on. It's time to look at the sheriff's budget. It's time for you BCC people, Donna, Brad, and Dan, to stand up and ask for a forensic audit throughout the county. And if the sheriff doesn't agree to policies, then we do the whole county budget and vote to it. And if he doesn't want to do it, he can come out and say, I don't want to be audited and I don't want to open my books. That'll be eye-opening, won't it? So Dan, Brad, Donna, put up or shut up. We're all watching. Some of us have already been disappointed. I ain't putting up with your garbage stand Sunday. You've lied to me long enough. I've wasted my time. You've affected my personal life with your lies, and now your personal life's affecting all of us, and we're sick of it. You can't make this shit up, but you can unelect it. And this board can take control of our money if they want to and stop this mess, but it don't look like it. You know, we're getting sued by an aide who was hired the same time as Boots' aide because they didn't want to give her another job. And here we give Boots' aide, and it looks like the job was offered 2 days after the primary for a job. As far as I'm concerned, the only qualification she meets is she has a driver's license, and she's conflicted. So we expect Boots' aide, for all the employees that have HR issues they need to talk about, they're going to run to Boots' aide. Did we forget where the lawsuits came from Boots and Tony and Trey and all that mess? And is Stan going to give Boots a job just because he promised him? Boots lost that election. Boots, did you even get 10% approval rating? So Stan goes out and they give Boots a job at the county. I guess the county staff thinks that they're immune from the voters, which is proof that the BCC needs to restructure who reports directly to the BCC that enforces the law, because that's why we put them up there as our representatives. You can't make this shit up. It's time to take back fire rescue. It's time for Mike to give us back the $20 million that he got in grant money that he made them budget for radios and put that into ball fields and senior centers for us. And he needs to give us the $20 million back. And we need the state to help us with the audit, maybe Ashley Moody's office, instead of hiring a company, a lawyer. Speaking of hiring lawyers, what did Navin's investigation cost? What did the law firm charge the county for Navin to take 3 days off without pay? Does anybody think it's strange that Navin it wasn't Tony Anderson, your baseball coach? You can't make this shit up. And you had your chance to unelect it, but now let's go hold them accountable. So you got Dan Curry, Brad, and Donna, as far as I'm concerned. But do you? We know where Tony's going to lie. He's going to lie with the developers and shipment. Will they let Donna be the chair, or will they intervene again? You can't make that up either. Will anybody hold Danny accountable to anything and watch the jockeying for the next 2 seats, which should be, I believe, District 2 and District 4? Now, you can't make that up. And I'll make my predictions on that here in the next couple of months, 2 years out, what's going to happen. And we'll see about that. So that's the election results. Yeah, I'm okay. Things are good. And there's still some stuff going on in the background. That telling my workers they couldn't solicit in the correct zones at the polls, that's going to come to an issue. The threats by the deputies, that's going to get turned over in the state. Will there be a special election? No. But there might be some people found culpable of election interference, and that needs to be in their records. And in my opinion, one of those is Mike Atkinson. So, all right, BCC, are you going to let Atkinson's bailiffs continue to dominate your meetings and be all in the videos, or are you going to go back having one bailiff like every normal BCC has? And like we had for 20 years. Are you going to end the intimidation show? Wait till I show you a video where Bobby Hoke's sitting back there trying to get Tony to tell him to take some people out of there. Now what's the bailiff got any business doing that in the middle of a meeting? Sitting up there like he's king. He ain't king of nothing. There'll be more on that to follow. Anyway, that's the way it is right after the election. Let's go hold them accountable. And we can't make America great if we don't make this community great too. So let's see what happens out there, and watch the next BCC and planning meetings and land use, the next few meetings. That'll tell the tale of what happens. You can't make this shit up. I'm Alan Osborne. Y'all keep straight, you hear?